is there any associated paranormal activity, or is it mainly just cryptid style sightings?
I think the cryptid style sightings. The most paranormal aspect of the Owlman, of course, is the collector of that sighting, and who was Tony Doc Shields. You may remember him as the Wizard of the West, the guy who thought he could conjure Nessie, and even tried to pass off a picture of Nessie head and neck, which is comically nicknamed the Muppet Nessie, from the late 60s.
I have not heard of this, but I can tell you that is what I'm looking into tonight.
You should look up Tony Doc Shields. He was essentially a conjurer, a con man, who traveled around the country with his family, a performing family, doing a very weird show. And he's actually, very involved in many cryptozoological organizations here still, and even, I won't say who by, but even vaunted by the head of one of these big associations as a father-like figure, and his greatest influence. So it just goes to show sometimes where the authors of these things, these sightings become tradition and history, but I'm very interested in finding out where they came from sometimes, and how it's morphed into fact over time, without looking at the source. It could very well be true. He was well known at that time for collecting lake monster stories, and he didn't so in Ireland very much, and other things. He was also allegedly somehow involved in the Morgar picture, which is one of the lake sea monsters spotted around Cornwall. So who knows? There's a lot tied up in that. There was another very interesting, different flying cryptid that was spotted in Kent in 1963 by 4 teenage friends walking home from a party in the county of Kent. Now, Kent is like a very flat, marshy, boggy area. There's forests and things, but it's in the southeast of England, not far from here, where I am with this, and just very flat and marshy and sparsely populated. So some friends were walking back from a party in the county of Kent, and they saw a mysterious flickering light descend into a nearby field in Sandling Park. It made its way into some trees at the edge of the park, and the 4 teens then noticed a rustling in the brush. They were shocked when a figure emerged and waddled towards them. They described it as looking like a bipedal headless bat, completely black and around 5 feet tall, with big webbed feet and wings on its back. One of the witnesses was convinced that it didn't have a head.
That is freaky, and there's something about the boggy and swampiness of it that makes it all the more tantalizing to the imagination.
It's a spooky place to be at night, Kent. I've been out on the marshes and different places there at night, and it's little expeditions, and it's just unpleasant. You just feel exposed all the time.
Again, very similar. Mothman was often described as not having a visible head, just having the eyes on the torso. Many of the winged humanoid sightings in Chicago in the last few years have been described as being bat-like rather than bird-like. So again, that's very interesting, and that's a thing where it's like it's a little harder, because if it's a bat-like, there are no bats of that size. Whereas there are some, very large birds. Right. So.
Yeah. I have seen a flying fox, though, at the zoo, man, and that thing is freaky huge.
Okay, I don't know if you have flying foxes in Kent.
Well, we don't have them here either, but...
You don't, but I do know that even a flying fox that could appear to be 5 feet tall couldn't waddle towards you on its feet.
Yeah.
Upright. Yeah, that's true. Do that. So it excludes that. Now
it doesn't fit. So.
Yeah, these are just these are sightings. They're classic. I've started to call it. I was calling cryptozoology for such a long time and searching for so much evidence. I've actually started to call it modern folklore, because essentially I can't prove what people are telling me, and yet some of the sightings and some of the stories are so compelling, and so are the witnesses, and I think, well, so it's happened, it's modern, but it's still kind of folklore.
Welcome to the red.